بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam and in humanity, this is my short video which is just an introduction to the upcoming lectures which with Allah's help I will upload. And this is basically just about what I personally and what as per my religious duty I feel is important for me to convey to my brethren in Islam. Now definitely these advices and these talks are first directed towards me and then towards my brethren. So first of all, as we know that the times that we live in are very trying times full of turmoil. We live in such a state where a person who has a strong Iman will be saved by Allah's help only. Now this is about a person with strong Iman, even he will be tried and tested with his Iman. What about those brethren who themselves aren't even aware of the basics of Islam, who just, perhaps you can say, are Muslims for the sake of eating meat, or just being Muslims by name, or just following the rituals for the sake of following the rituals? We should first of all understand what is Farz Ain for every Muslim. In Islamic terminology, in Islamic jurisprudence, there are two types of Farz. One is Farz Ain, another is Farz Kifaya. Farz Ain is basically that obligation which every single Muslim is obliged to carry forward. Farz Kifaya is that obligation which among one community, any one person or a group of people are obliged to carry. If they do not carry that obligation, then everybody else falls in the category of those people who are obliged to implement that obligation. For example, Namaz, Zakat, Roza, Salat, Zakat, Saum, Hajj, these are Farz Ain. And Farz Kifaya are like becoming an Islamic scholar, becoming a doctor, and other professionals which a society definitely needs. So Farz Ain in Islamic knowledge are those knowledges which pertain to our basics of Islamic aqaid, our Islamic beliefs about Allah, about the prophets, about the messengers, about the heavenly revealed books of Allah, about the day of Qiyamah, about the life and grave, the questioning of the grave by Munkar and Nakir, about haram and halal, and about Yawm al-Qiyamah and Jannah and Jahannam. These are basics in Islam which every Muslim should know. Not in depth, but to that level which is important for him to be aware of it and to know, so that it can be a fuel for his Iman. Tawhid is the first for the end, for every single human being perhaps on earth. This is that principle, this is that belief which more than 124,000 prophets, and according to some narrations, the prophets haven't been numbered, and it is believed that they were in a very large number, and every community received a prophet. But there are some narrations which give an indication that there have been around 124,000 prophets. The last and final messenger is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Every prophet who came, his main message was La ilaha illallah. There is no deity worthy of worship except Allah. And every person of that era was obliged to follow the prophet. And those prophets before came to their communities, and their message was limited to that time and their community. Now Allah's mercy came in Jalal, and He showered His mercy upon whole humanity. Allah is Rahman Rahim, and He sent Rahmatul lil Alameen for whole kainat, for all shay, Ihsan and Jins, Ins wal Jins. And He came and He fulfilled the complete duty of the prophets in laying down strong foundations, unbreakable foundations of La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah is the foundation of every khair, every good. When a person has correct belief about his Lord, when he knows Allah is seeing him, whether he is hidden from the eyes of people, whether he is outside within the people, amongst the people, Allah is nearer to him than his own shahrag, than his own jugular vein. This is mentioned in the Quran, my brothers and my brethren in Islam. Allah is Al-Alim, He is Al-Sami, He is Al-Basir, He is Al-Hakam, He is Al-Adl, He is Al-Latif, He is Al-Khabir. There are many, many names of Allah. So, there are many, many attributes and names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which have been mentioned in the Quran al-Kareem. And in the last ayat of Surah Hashr, if you can read that ayat of Surah Hashr in the ahadith also, it has been advised for the Muslims to make a habit of reading Amana Rasul, the last two ayat of Surah Al-Baqarah and last ayat of Surah Hashr. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha. Start from that. And Amana Rasulu bima unzila ilayhim rabbihim till the end of the ayah. Now, if you read Amana Rasulu bima unzila ilayhim rabbihim wal mu'minun, if you read the whole ayat, it starts from Amana Rasul. It starts from belief in Rasul, in Malak, in the heavenly books. It talks about the basic criteria and the basic framework of a Muslim. That is why it has been advised that before sleeping we should read that. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليهم من ربهم والمؤمنون كل من آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسوله. So it starts like that. Now if you can see, it is mentioning about the basic beliefs which every Muslim should have. So my brethren in Islam, make Quran your Imam. Reflect and ponder about the Quran, which is food to the heart, food for your soul, life for your soul, life for your heart. Separation from the Quran is death of your heart, my brothers, because it is the most of the dhikr. See how the Sahaba Ikram used to work hard in understanding the Quran, in implementing the Quran. They would ponder upon the Quran, study the Quran, learn the Quran al-Kareem. So my brothers, the basic gist of this talk is that every Muslim in today's time should be aware of the basics of Islam, in Iman, let me put it this way. I will simply talk about the hadith of Jibreel alayhi salam, which basically puts everything together. It is narrated in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. It is narrated on the authority of Hazrat Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu, that once the Sahaba were with the Prophet alayhi salatu salam, and a man came who was exceedingly fair, who had no sign of no sign of traveling on his face and his whole body. His attire was extremely white, his hair and his beard were extremely black, and he was a person which the Sahaba hadn't seen before. First time they had seen that person. And that person came towards the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ was amongst his companions. He put his knees right next to the knees of the Prophet ﷺ, and he put his hands on the thighs of Prophet ﷺ, and he asked the Prophet ﷺ, O Prophet of Allah, tell me about Islam. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Islam is to believe that there is no God and no deity worthy of worship except Allah, and to perform the prayers on time, the 5 daily prayers, and to give and to fast in the month and to give zakat, from your wealth, and to fast once in a month, in the month of Ramadan, in the whole year. And if those who have means to go for Hajj, they should go for Hajj. Now these Zahiri Amal with many Batini and Zahiri benefits come under the edifice of Islam. And then the angel said, then the person said, that the man said, who was asking this question, you have said the truth, you have said the truth. And Umar radiallahu anhu used to say that we were amazed by this person. He is asking the question, and then he is saying that you have said the truth. And then he asked the Prophet ﷺ, tell me about Iman. He said, Iman is to believe in Allah, His angels, His books, His messengers, in the last day, in the day of judgment, in the destiny of Allah, that whatever good or bad happens by Allah's will. This is Iman. Iman has a relationship with your heart. You have to believe in it as you believe that the Shams and Qamar exist. it has to be as strong as that. It is important. It is the foundation of your Islam, of your Iman. If your Iman is strong and your Amal are correct, my brothers, then inshallah this fitan of the dunya, this fake glitter of the dunya will not affect you, inshallah ta'ala. Because you will have your weapon of Iman. Otherwise you are going in the battlefield without any weapon, armless. Then that after this, he again said, you have said the truth, you have said the truth. And then he said, tell me about Ihsan. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Ihsan is to worship Allah as though you see Him. Though you do not see Him, verily He sees you. Ihsan is basically a matter of ikhlas and khushu of a person in salah, in his aman. That his belief in Allah is so strong that Allah blesses him with such a state in namaz, in salah, such a khushu, that he is praying as if he is worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, tazkiyah in nafs, and first of all, the basics of Islam, the practice of Islam, the Iman, which every Muslim should have in, and Ihsan. Islam, Iman, Ihsan. These three are such three parts of the same theme, which is called the Deen Islam, the Millat Ibrahim, the Ummah of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. These three parts, when they combine together, they become the 100% exact and correct way of following Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. If you have Ihsan, you will not never ever be a victim of riyakari, of hypocrisy. If you have Iman, then you definitely, your actions will be even more weighty, because you are acting, you're doing sujood to Allah, knowing the haqq of ibadah. You're doing sujood of Allah, knowing what is the maqam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So brothers and sisters, this short lecture was basically about the basics of Islam and about Iman, Islam, Iman, and Ihsan. About the Fard Ain and Fard Kifaya, I have basically briefly told you about that. About the importance of learning the basic Islamic knowledge in today's time of fitan, I have told that. Inshallah, in the next lecture, I will talk about in more detail about this fact. First of all, I started with the importance of Tawhid, and Tawhid is the foundation of every khair, because if you believe in Allah as He has to be believed in, then you will fear Allah. Then you will definitely have a heart which is purified from the filth of this dunya. And when you will fear Allah, you will become the beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, O brother of Islam. And I would like to end my talk now, and may Allah ta'ala grant me first of all, and you all tawfiq to practice Islam both inwardly and outwardly, and to give victory to the Ummah Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, and to bring more ittihad in Ummah Muslimah alayhi salatu wasalam, and to make us follow the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam and his Sahaba Ikram and his Ahl Bayt Ashar alayhim ridwan. وصلى الله تعالى على خير الخلق وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد النبي الأمي وآله وبارك وسلم. السلام عليكم.